ought to he have married?
Well, ideally, he marries a princess, somebody who understands how everything works in the royal family. I know that's very old-fashioned, but I personally think that it works extremely well. I mean, look at all the problems there have been when the members of the royal family have come away from the traditional royal princesses from other families, and they have married commoners. I mean, Mark Phillips, of course, was a commoner when he married Princess Anne. You had Fergie, who we've just been discussing. You had Diana. All of those went wrong. The problem is, George, there aren't too many princesses around ready to be snapped up. And if they are, and if they're pretty and attractive and suitable, they tend to be Roman Catholics. And as you know, under our Constitution, any member of the royal family who marries a Roman Catholic automatically rules themselves out from the line of succession to the throne. I'm thinking particularly Prince Michael of Kent. Oh, God, how long ago was it now? 25 years ago. Maybe 30 years ago, he married Mary Christine, and she was a Roman Catholic, and he immediately came off the list of succession. So that's the problem. But ideally, he would marry another member of another royal family.
But it's kind of dying out now, the whole thing. Do you really think...
No, it's not, George. It's still around. There are a number of royal families about, and I really don't think that our royal family is dying out in this generation. I'm choosing my words carefully because I do see enormous problems when the Queen dies and Prince Charles comes to the throne with Camilla. I don't know whether you're aware of a fairly late-breaking story tonight, George, but on an American TV show, actually, Prince Charles has finally admitted, yes, there was a chance, and why shouldn't she type remark, that Camilla will and could become crowned the Queen one day. For years now, ever since he married Camilla, he said, no, she's going to be the prince's consort and she'll never be queen. He has finally changed tonight and admitted that he could. Well, that's absolute nonsense, because from the word go, John, he was always going to make her his queen. It's just a matter of public acceptance. You know, the style in Britain is that a wife takes the style and title of their husband. He is the Prince of Wales. God knows why she calls herself the Countess of Cornwall. Well, it's a secondary title of Charles's, of course. She's always been the Princess of Wales to me. And then for him to say, well, I know she won't be queen, nonsense. He'll be king, she'll be the queen. He's finally admitted it tonight. That will cause trouble.
Yeah, and of course, therefore, the institution may not survive long enough for Kate to have to produce this heir and spare, but I suppose that's long in the distance.
It is, and also, you know, the monarchy has been around quite a long time, George. They won't be killed off that easily. And again, as you will know as well as anybody, you need a head of state. Every country in the world, even the poorest and most miserable country in the world, has a head of state. And I don't know how you feel about the Queen, but I think she's done a pretty good job, and we need a head of state. Now, who are you going to have? Are we really going to have a politician who's our head of state?
Well, I
wouldn't
know.
like that at all.
You've got the class. We could elect you. Now, James, lastly, before I let you go, the secondary question is who's going to pay for all of this? Where do you stand on that?
No, I stand very clearly on this, and I believe the Queen will pick up a large amount of the costs of the wedding, and so will Prince Charles. I think there'd be uproar from the public if it was found that any of the marriage was paid for by a taxpayer. But of course, one of the biggest bills of the lot, if not the majority, is going to be security. Who lines the route? Who checks on everything in the sort of week leading up to the wedding in particular? That is going to come out of taxpayers' money, and it's very hard to quantify these things. The police never cooperate on it. But I would estimate that the security in the lead-up to the wedding I'm guessing, but I would reckon it'll be in the region of £20 million. That will be paid for by us, the taxpayer.
I wouldn't myself quarrel with that, because I'm sure we'll make much more than that from people who come to London for the wedding.
Yes, I think we will. I always think it's a bit of a weak argument to put forward our royal family as great tourist attractions. They are, but they're not. That's not their prime role in life. The prime role is to have a head of state who behaves beautifully, and I think the Queen has done, and all those around her should equally behave well and support her. Sadly, over the last 20 years, younger members of her family have not behaved well. They've been a disgrace in many instances.
Yep. OK, James, very good of you to kick this off. Thanks very much. That's royal expert James Whittaker of the Mirror Group.